All right, guys, welcome to lesson number 71 of Jazz Piano Daily. Today we're going to do part 2 of our 4-part series on how to improvise over jazz ballads. All right, let's take a look at the music now. So this one, I really love this because there's a lot of cool things that are happening in this particular improvisation. All right, on the G minor, I am really getting this great run of this arpeggio on G minor. So I have the root down here, and really what I'm doing is I'm running the chord tones, the 3rd, the 5, the 7, but then adding in 9 and 11, and it's a great sound. In fact, you could even use that as a great G minor 7 chord voicing right there. Just add the G in the left hand, and if you could reach the 10ths, there you go. That's a great voicing as well. Anyway, though, we're doing this as an improvisation, so we are arpeggiating this. Again, all of the fingering is written in. It starts on the 2nd finger, okay? And then I come up to the chord, and then on this downbeat, you notice I'm hitting the 11th there. That's okay. A lot of times we say, we like to hit those chord tones on the downbeat, but we don't always have to hit the chord tone on the downbeat. Here, the 11th is really nice. So you notice that really all that's happening is I'm just playing the chord tones, adding in 9, 11. When I'm coming down, there's the 3rd, the 9th, the root. And then on the G minor major 7th, I end on the 9, and then just let the chords breathe by themselves. So it's really about hitting that 7th down there and coming up and hitting that next chord. And then now notice, written in for you, G Dorian. Take a look at the fingering as well, 4th finger. Notice this. See, I'm using my G Dorian scale, which, you probably already know. We're in the key of F, D minor, right? So if I'm thinking in the key of F here, or moving to an F, the G Dorian would make sense, right? It has the flat 3rd there, the B flat, which is relative and common to the key of F major. So I have my B flat in there. I'm starting on the B flat, the 3rd, coming down, the 9, the root, the 7th, and notice how I cross over, middle finger. But you see how I'm not just going right down the G Dorian scale. Notice how I'll go down a little bit and then switch directions. Right? And then that creates this nice movement in the line. So we're moving, right? So going up, then coming down, and then back up, and then down, and then switching directions again. And then we go into this. I love this part. E7, A7, D minor. And this is basically what we're doing here. We're playing this E7. See how I'm going up to the sharp 9 now in the E7. Now notice, sharp 9 is not written in the chord tone, okay? Or it's not written in the chord symbol, rather. It's just E7. But we know as jazz players, a dominant 7th chord, right? That's just fresh for the picking to add in some of these tensions. So here I'm let me add in that sharp 9, adds in some nice tension, then I resolve it down to the 9th, and then go to the 3rd of A7. And then you notice the 3rd of A7, 7th of A7, back to the 3rd, to the 5th, and notice again, there's a nice enclosure taking me back to my D, right? So it's a real nice... And then you can pay attention to the fingering in the sheet music there. I hit your 3rd finger when you go back here, 4th finger. Yeah. And that's going to be in the next part. All right, so let's do the entire thing now. Whoops. Oh, yeah, one thing I forgot to mention as well. Notice how I changed the left hand here, all right? So if you go back to the sheet music of the arrangement, right? Before I was playing the E7 as the root 3 and then the root 7 for A7. Here, though, I changed it. Why? Because the improvisation kind of gets in the way down there, right? So instead, I just did the root, just letting it breathe down there in the left hand. Now on this G minor as well, I'm going to actually change the G minor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that top note of the G minor and just play this. Why? Because again, it's going to conflict with that improvisation melody right here. Because I'm going to end up hitting the D there. If I'm playing the D in the left hand, it's going to conflict. So what I could do is, to help give myself some space, there's two things I could do. Number one, I could just move that finger out of the way when I get to it, or what I like to do as well is just leave that note off of the chord, especially since it's the fifth of the chord, doesn't really add all that much. This right in here gets a real nice cluster in there instead. Not a little pro tip for you, you could change the fifth into the 11th and do that. See how I just played the 11th rather than the 5th? But I'm just going to leave the note off. All right, so let's do the whole thing. Remember too, if you check out the videos on the site, you can also change the speed of the video. So if you're finding it difficult to play it up to speed, just go ahead and slow the video down. All right, let's do it again. I'll do a little bit slower for you. All right, so practice that, and then obviously you want to go from part 1 then into part 2. So go back to yesterday's video to part 1, right? So that's going to be lesson number 70, to lesson number 70, and then move right into lesson 71. All right, so the next few lessons, 70, 71, 72, 73, are all designed to go one after another. So you can just keep adding on to this. To get the first 45 pages of music for free, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com. If you liked the video, please be sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. To watch the rest of the lessons in this series, just click on the playlist to the right of this arrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.